Have you ever looked into a mother's tired yet hopeful eyes and wondered how her endless love could ever be met with coldness? Picture this: a woman who sacrifices everything for her son, her time, her dreams, her well-being, only to be met with harsh words or indifference. It's a heart-wrenching reality for so many mothers. But why does it happen? How does a bond so pure become so fractured? It's like planting a tree with love, watering it daily and watching it grow tall, only to have its branches one day push you away. The very love that nurtures often goes unrecognized, or worse, resented. And let's be honest, the modern world doesn't make it easier. It glorifies independence, but forgets to teach respect. It promotes ambition, but overlooks gratitude. When a son disrespects his mother, it's not just a personal failure, it's a reflection of lost values and a disconnection from the love and sacrifices that shaped him. Stoicism reminds us to honor those who make our lives possible, especially mothers, who embody patience and resilience. But this isn't just about blame, it's about understanding. What's behind the ungratefulness? Is it anger, frustration, or simply ignorance of her sacrifices? By uncovering the root, we can begin to heal. In this video, we'll delve into Stoic wisdom to mend this sacred bond and see relationships in a whole new light. Trust me, the insights ahead might just transform your life. Let's get started. Number 1, lack of awareness of sacrifice. Picture a quilt, hand-stitched with care, each piece woven together with hours of dedication. Now imagine you use that quilt every day for warmth, but never stop to think about the hands that stitched it. This is often how sons view their mothers. Her sacrifices, her struggles, her tireless work, they become so much a part of life's backdrop that they're invisible. And in that invisibility lies the seed of ungratefulness. For many sons, their mother's love is like gravity, constant, reliable, but entirely unnoticed. They see the clean clothes, the meals on the table, the comfort of a safe home, but they don't see the late nights, the endless compromises, or the dreams quietly set aside to make it all happen. Let me tell you about Adam, a young man from Chicago. Adam grew up in a modest home, raised by his mother, Laura, after his father left when he was 5. Laura worked tirelessly as a nurse, pulling double shifts to keep food on the table and pay for Adam's soccer fees. To Adam, life felt normal. He had a bed to sleep in, new cleats every season, and a mom who was always there, except when she wasn't. As Adam entered his teenage years, he grew resentful. He hated that his mom worked late. He hated that she couldn't attend every soccer game. He hated the constant reminders to do better in school. Why can't she just back off, he thought. She doesn't get me. But what Adam didn't see was the silent battle Laura fought every day, the extra shifts she picked up to afford his cleats, the meals she skipped to save money, the exhaustion she pushed through to ask about his day, even when hers was brutal. To Adam, she was just mom, not a human being who was sacrificing everything to give him a better life. One evening, Adam came home earlier than usual and saw his mother asleep at the kitchen table, her head resting on a pile of bills, a half-eaten sandwich next to her. For the first time, he noticed the dark circles under her eyes, the calluses on her hands, the weight she seemed to carry in silence. It hit him like a thunderclap. Every comfort he enjoyed came at a cost to her. Every game he played, every meal he ate, every bit of advice she gave, it was all born from sacrifice, and he had been blind to it. This is the tragedy of unawareness. Sons often live in the shade of their mother's efforts, never realizing that the shade exists because she is holding up the branches. Stoicism teaches us to open our eyes to the invisible, to recognize the interwoven effort behind life's comforts. Without this awareness, entitlement grows like weeds, choking out gratitude and respect. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Gratitude is a choice, and it starts with seeing the sacrifices made for you. It's about stepping outside your own perspective and recognizing the unseen threads that hold your world together. How can sons cultivate this awareness and gratitude? Step into her shoes. Take a moment to imagine her day. Think about the challenges she faces, the effort she puts in, and the weight she carries. Notice the little things. From the packed lunches to the late-night advice, these small acts are often the biggest sacrifices. Say, thank you. Gratitude doesn't have to wait for a grand gesture. A simple thank you for her efforts can mean the world. Take responsibility. Show her that her sacrifices were worth it by stepping up and becoming the person she believed you could be. As Epictetus wisely said, "We are not disturbed by things, but by the view we take of them." Change your view, and you'll see your mother not as someone who should do these things, but as someone who chose to, for you. And as Jesus said, honor your father and mother. To honor your mother is to see her not as a role, but as a person, one who sacrificed her own comfort for yours. It's to appreciate the sleepless nights, the endless compromises, and the unwavering love she has given you. So, the next time you look at your mother, don't just see Mom. See the human being who stitched together the quilt of your life, piece by piece, with her sacrifices. Don't let hindsight teach you what gratitude could reveal right now. Open your eyes, honor her, and let her know that her sacrifices didn't go unnoticed. Number 2, entitlement mentality. Why is it that the more we are given, the less we appreciate it? Have you ever wondered how comfort can sometimes breed ingratitude? When love and care are constant, they can start to feel less like gifts and more like entitlements, robbing us of the ability to truly value the sacrifices behind them. Imagine you're handed a golden cup filled to the brim with fresh water. Every time it runs low, someone silently refills it, never asking for thanks or acknowledgement. At first, you're amazed by this gift, marveling at its beauty and the care it represents. But over time, as the cup keeps being refilled without fail, it stops feeling special. Instead of appreciating it, you begin to expect it. You forget the unseen effort of the person who keeps filling it. A mother's care is like that golden cup, consistent, reliable, and often taken for granted until it's empty. Take the story of David. Growing up, his mother Rachel provided everything he needed without hesitation. From warm meals to late-night advice, her love was a constant in his life. But instead of seeing her sacrifices, David focused on what he didn't have: fancier clothes, more freedom, or the latest gadgets. He assumed her care was simply part of her role, something she was obligated to do. It wasn't until David moved out and had to fend for himself that he realized the depth of her love. The golden cup wasn't magical. It was her effort, her sacrifice, and her tireless dedication. Why does entitlement develop so easily? Stoicism offers a simple explanation. We often fail to reflect on what we've been given. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Sons who grow up with consistent care rarely pause to think about the work behind it. They focus on their desires and struggles, forgetting that the comforts they enjoy didn't appear out of nowhere. This mindset turns blessings into expectations, devaluing the love that made them possible. A mother's care is like the roots of a tree, hidden, silent, but vital. Sons enjoy the shade and fruits of her labor, but rarely consider the roots that make them possible. Entitlement grows when sons stop acknowledging the unseen efforts and start assuming that love and care are simply owed to them. This perspective not only robs a mother of the appreciation she deserves, but also blinds sons to the depth of her sacrifices. How can this entitlement mentality be replaced with gratitude? The first step is reflection. Sons must ask themselves, what have I been given that I didn't earn? What efforts have gone unnoticed because I assumed they were just normal? This act of reflection is like polishing a fogged mirror. It reveals the depth of a mother's love that has always been there. The second step is humility. Humility is the antidote to entitlement. It's about recognizing that nothing is truly owed to us, not even love. A mother's care is a gift, not an obligation. A simple acknowledgement like saying, "Mom, I realize how much you've done for me, and I'm grateful," can heal years of unspoken neglect and transform relationships. Lastly, gratitude must translate into action. Words are powerful, but actions solidify their meaning. Helping with chores, listening to her stories, or simply spending quality time together are ways to honor her sacrifices. Respect isn't just a duty, it's a way of repaying the love and care she has given selflessly. As Epictetus said, "He who is not grateful for what he has will not be happy with what he gets." Gratitude shifts your focus from what you think you're missing to what you've already received. It replaces entitlement with appreciation, strengthening your bond with your mother. And as Jesus said, "Give, and it will be given to you." A mother's love is the ultimate act of giving. Breaking free from entitlement means honoring that love, not as something owed to you, but as a treasure to be cherished. So, sons, look beyond the comforts you've grown up with. See the hands that have tirelessly refilled your cup. Acknowledge the effort, honor the sacrifices, and replace entitlement with gratitude. For when you appreciate the love that shaped your life, you grow into the man your mother always believed you could be. Number 3, unresolved resentments. Why do small misunderstandings often grow into deep rifts? How does a single unresolved moment of conflict quietly transform into years of resentment? The answer lies in how we process and carry these moments, allowing them to fester instead of addressing them with clarity and compassion. Imagine holding a small thorn in your hand. At first, it's just a minor discomfort, easy to ignore, but as time passes, the thorn burrows deeper, the pain intensifies, and what started as a small irritation becomes a constant ache. Resentment works in the same way. Misunderstandings, unresolved conflicts, or hurtful words can lodge themselves in the heart. Left unaddressed, they grow into bitterness, distorting the way we see the person who hurt us. Take the story of Mark and his mother, Clara. Growing up, Mark often felt that Clara was overly strict, limiting his freedom while other kids seemed to enjoy more independence. Clara, on the other hand, was simply trying to protect her son and instill discipline. Neither of them expressed their feelings openly, and over time, Mark's unspoken frustrations turned into resentment. He began to view Clara's love as control and her guidance as interference. Years later, as Mark reflected on his childhood, he realized that his mother's strictness wasn't about controlling him. It was about protecting him from making mistakes that could harm his future. He carried resentment for years, not because Clara was wrong, but because he had never tried to understand her intentions. The thorn had been in his hand all along, and only he could remove it. Why does this happen? Stoicism provides a powerful insight. Seneca said, "Bitterness is like a poison you drink, expecting it to harm another." Resentment doesn't affect the person you're angry with. It corrodes your own peace. When conflicts remain unresolved, they create a lens through which you view every interaction, magnifying negativity and overshadowing love. Unresolved resentments between a mother and son often arise from misunderstandings, different perspectives left unexplored, or hurt feelings left unspoken. A mother's intentions, rooted in love, can be misinterpreted by a son as control or criticism. Over time, these unspoken conflicts grow, creating distance where there should be connection. How can this cycle be broken? The first step is acknowledgement. Just as a thorn must be found before it can be removed, resentment must be recognized before it can be addressed. Ask yourself, what unresolved conflicts am I holding on to? What am I unwilling to forgive or understand? The second step is communication. Resentment thrives in silence, but clarity begins with conversation. A simple, honest discussion. Mom, I've felt hurt by this, but I want to understand your perspective, can dissolve years of tension in moments. Lastly, practice forgiveness. Forgiveness isn't about excusing the hurt. It's about releasing the weight of resentment. It's a gift you give yourself, freeing you from the poison of bitterness and allowing love to flourish again. So, sons, pause and reflect. Don't let unresolved conflicts steal the joy of your relationship. Remove the thorn, forgive freely, and find peace in understanding. If any of the points resonated with you, be sure to comment, "Thank God I learned it," to share your thoughts and let us know how it connected. Number 4, projection of personal struggles. Why is it that when life feels overwhelming, we often direct our frustrations toward the people who love us most? Why do the storms within us cloud our relationships, causing us to blame others for struggles they didn't create? This is the power of projection, unfairly transferring our own inner turmoil onto someone else, often a mother, who becomes an undeserving target. Imagine a cracked mirror. When you look into it, the reflection is distorted, not because the world around you is broken, but because the mirror itself is flawed. Projection works the same way. A son struggling with his own insecurities or failures may see his mother through this cracked lens, blaming her for his unhappiness or shortcomings. The distortion isn't in her, it's in the way he perceives her through the cracks of his own struggles. Take the story of Daniel and his mother, Margaret. Daniel was ambitious but struggled to meet the high expectations he set for himself. Every setback felt like a personal failure, and instead of confronting his own doubts, he began to blame Margaret. He would criticize her parenting, claiming she didn't push him hard enough, or that she was too controlling. The truth, however, was that Margaret had always supported him, encouraging him to pursue his dreams without pressuring him. Daniel's frustrations weren't about her. They were about his own feelings of inadequacy. Why does projection happen? Stoicism offers a profound insight. Epictetus said, "Do not blame others for your turmoil. The storm is within." When faced with personal struggles, it's easier to point fingers than to confront the uncomfortable truth that the real battle lies within. Blaming others, especially someone as close as a mother, provides a temporary sense of relief, but ultimately deepens the divide. Projection often stems from unresolved emotions, shame, regret, or disappointment, that feel too heavy to carry alone. A mother, being a constant and loving presence, becomes an easy target for this misplaced frustration. Over time, these projected feelings can damage the relationship, creating a cycle of blame and defensiveness. How can this cycle be broken? The first step is self-awareness. Imagine standing in front of that cracked mirror and realizing that the distortion is within, not outside. Ask yourself, am I blaming my mother for something that's really about me? What struggles am I avoiding by shifting the focus onto her? The second step is responsibility. Taking ownership of your struggles is empowering. Instead of projecting your frustrations, channel them into personal growth. Reflect on what you can change within yourself and take actionable steps toward healing. Finally, practice empathy. Recognize that your mother is a person, not a reflection of your struggles. Approach her with understanding, not blame. A simple acknowledgement, "Mom, I've been unfair to you because of my own frustrations," can rebuild trust and restore the relationship. As Epictetus reminds us, the storm is within. When you stop projecting your struggles onto others, you not only find peace, but also protect the bonds that matter most. So, sons, take a moment to reflect, look beyond the cracked mirror, and address the storm within. In doing so, you free yourself from the weight of blame and create space for gratitude and connection. Number 5, failure to see her humanity. Why is it that we often expect perfection from those closest to us? Why do we forget that even a mother, with all her love and care, is still human, flawed, vulnerable, and capable of mistakes? This unrealistic expectation blinds us to her efforts and undermines the compassion she deserves. Imagine a statue carved from marble, standing tall and proud. From a distance it appears flawless, a symbol of strength and beauty. But step closer, and you'll see the cracks and imperfections etched into its surface, marks that tell a story of its creation. A mother is like that statue. From afar, she may seem unshakable, someone who always knows what to do and never falters. But when you look closer, you'll see the cracks, moments of doubt, exhaustion, and mistakes. These cracks don't diminish her, they make her human. Take the story of Samuel and his mother, Joanna. Samuel often felt frustrated by what he saw as his mother's shortcomings, her occasional forgetfulness, the decisions she made that he didn't agree with, or the times she lost her temper under stress. To him, these moments overshadowed the countless ways she had supported and loved him. It wasn't until Samuel became a father himself, struggling with sleepless nights and difficult decisions, that he realized how much his mother had carried. Her flaws were simply signs of her humanity, not failures of her love. Why do sons struggle to see their mother's humanity? Stoicism offers a timeless truth. We often project impossible standards onto others while excusing our own imperfections. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, perfection is not a human trait. Extend compassion to those who fall short. Sons raised by a loving mother may unconsciously see her as an unshakable figure, forgetting that behind her strength is a human being navigating her own fears and struggles. This unrealistic expectation can erode compassion and create unnecessary tension. A mother's humanity is often hidden behind her sacrifices. She pushes through exhaustion to care for her children, hides her own pain to offer comfort, and masks her doubts to appear strong. But these efforts can make her struggles invisible, leading sons to focus on her mistakes instead of her efforts. The result? Disappointment replaces gratitude, and compassion gives way to criticism. How can sons break free from this mindset? The first step is perspective. Imagine stepping closer to that statue, not to judge its cracks, but to understand them. Ask yourself, what challenges has my mother faced? How have her struggles shaped the person she is? This shift in perspective turns judgment into empathy. The second step is forgiveness. Recognize that your mother's mistakes don't define her. They highlight her humanity. Forgiveness is a gift you give both to her and to yourself, freeing your relationship from the weight of resentment. Finally, express appreciation. Acknowledge her efforts, even if they weren't perfect. A simple, heartfelt, "Thank you for everything you've done, even when it wasn't easy," can mean the world to her. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, perfection is not a human trait. When you extend compassion to your mother, you honor her humanity and deepen your connection. So sons, pause and reflect, look beyond the cracks and imperfections and see the person behind the role. Embrace her humanity, for it's in her imperfections that her love truly shines. Number 6, overemphasis on faults. Why do we sometimes allow tiny imperfections to overshadow greatness? Why does one small flaw in someone's actions take center stage, while the vast good they've done fades into the background? This habit is especially damaging in the bond between a son and his mother, where focusing on her minor mistakes can overshadow the profound love and care she has poured into his life. Imagine you're looking through a magnifying glass. When you hold it over a small crack on a window pane, that crack appears massive, distorting your entire view. But step back and you'll see the window for what it is, a clear, beautiful barrier that lets light into the room. A mother's love is like that window, yet when a son focuses only on her minor faults, he loses sight of the light she brings into his life. Consider the story of Andrew and his mother, Helen. Helen worked tirelessly to ensure Andrew had a stable and loving home. She made sacrifices daily, from working long hours to keeping the family together during tough times. But Andrew often fixated on the small things, her cooking not always being perfect, her occasional forgetfulness, or her nagging about his responsibilities. These minor annoyances loomed so large in his mind that he failed to appreciate her efforts. It wasn't until Helen fell ill and Andrew took on her responsibilities that he realized how much she had done for him. The faults he once magnified seemed insignificant in the face of her unwavering love and dedication. Why does this happen? Stoicism offers a powerful explanation. We often fail to see the bigger picture when we focus on imperfections. Seneca wisely said, "Do not let the small flaws blind you to the vast good." A mother's occasional missteps can never outweigh the countless sacrifices she makes. Yet by magnifying these flaws, sons risk creating resentment where there should be gratitude. A mother's imperfections are often born from her tireless effort to care for her children. Her occasional mistakes come not from neglect, but from the sheer weight of the responsibilities she shoulders. Forgetting this truth blinds sons to the vast good she offers, creating a skewed perspective that sows unnecessary conflict. How can sons overcome this tendency? The first step is to zoom out. Step back from the magnifying glass and look at the whole picture. Ask yourself, am I letting small annoyances blind me to all the good she has done? This shift in perspective opens the door to gratitude. The second step is to choose kindness over criticism. Instead of pointing out her flaws, acknowledge her intentions. Tell her, "Mum, I know I've focused on the wrong things before, but I see now how much you've done for me. Thank you." These words can heal years of hurt and create a stronger bond. Lastly, practice forgiveness. Just as you hope others will forgive your imperfections, extend the same grace to your mother. Recognize that her flaws don't diminish her love, they highlight her humanity. As Seneca reminds us, do not let the small flaws blind you to the vast good. A mother's love is a masterpiece, and her flaws are but tiny brushstrokes on the canvas. So, sons, take a step back. See the light, the effort, and the love she brings. Focus not on the cracks, but on the beauty of the window that lets warmth and clarity into your life. If you've made it this far, write in the comments, "I am unbreakable." I'd love to know how you faced challenges and stayed strong. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave a comment. It helps YouTube recommend these empowering videos to more people like you. Also, check out the last 2 videos we've suggested. They're full of insights to help you build resilience and inner strength. Thank you so much for watching and supporting us. See you in the next video on your journey to unshakable confidence.